Chapter 10. The house was quiet. Matt sat on the edge of the bed, still in his rumpled shirt, the weight of the Merrick case heavy on his shoulders. Some cases wrecked his sleep. This was one. His phone was warm in his hand, thumb hovering over Penny's name, just to hear her voice. But that was a lie. He exhaled and tossed the phone onto the nightstand. The screen blinked once, then went dark. He dragged a hand over his face, felt the stubble rasp his palm, and fell back on the mattress with a groan. Sleep. He needed sleep. He reached over, killed the lamp, and let the darkness close in. Then the phone rang. His pulse jumped. For a second, stupid hope flared as he fumbled for the screen. Joe, not Penny. Disappointment twisted in his gut. He answered. What? Get to the station, now, Joe said, voice tight. Why? What's going on? Not over the phone. A beat. Just move. The line went dead. Matt sat there a second, jaw tight. Then he swore, stood, and reached for his jeans, grabbed his keys and badge. The Vista Ridge station was all glass, steel, and marble, worlds away from the dingy precinct Matt once knew. Joe waited past security, arms crossed, with a woman Matt recognized as Detective Ann Oberst. She was in her late 30s, maybe early 40s, with dark hair pulled back in a no-nonsense ponytail, streaks of silver at the temples that suggested she'd earned them the hard way. She wore a fitted blazer over a collared shirt, her badge clipped to her belt. Took you long enough, Joe said. Matt ignored the jab. You want to tell me why I'm here at... He checked his watch. 1 in the goddamn morning? Oberst cut in before Joe could answer. We have credible intel that your wife has placed a contract on your life. For a second, the words didn't land. Matt laughed. Jen, you're joking. Oberst didn't blink. I don't joke about murder for hire. Then you're misinformed. Matt shook his head, the absurdity of it prickling under his skin. There's no money in it, no property, no assets. Hell, the life insurance policy wouldn't cover more than a cheap funeral. Why the hell would she bother? Oberst didn't answer right away. I want you to hear something, Oberst said. Come with us. She turned sharply and headed toward the inner doors without waiting for a response. Matt shot a look at Joe. Is anyone going to fill me in here? Joe just gave a quiet shrug and followed. Matt fell in step behind them. The hallway curved slightly before opening into a corridor of interview rooms. Heavy steel doors, reinforced glass windows, red indicator lights above each one. Seriously, Matt said, can someone tell me why I'm being marched back here in the middle of the night? Oberst didn't slow down. You'll see. They stopped at an interview room, a small observation window revealing the man waiting inside. Oberst opened the door. Because you need to hear this with your own ears. Inside, the room was bare except for a table and 3 chairs. Sitting on the far side was a man with a stocky, gym-hardened build, both arms inked from wrist to shoulder in dense, colorful tattoos. Special Agent Barry, Oberst said. This is Julio Gomez. She took a seat across from him and gestured for Matt and Joe to do the same. Tell Special Agent Barry what you told us. Gomez's gaze darted between them, lingering on Matt a beat too long before settling on Oberst. Are you guys going to help me out? Oberst folded her hands on the table. Mr. Gomez is facing a possession with intent to distribute charge. He's asked for consideration in exchange for his information. She tilted her head slightly, a silent command. Talk. Gomez nodded, then leaned forward, the chains on his cuffs rattling against the metal table. Gomez stared across the table, locking eyes with Matt. Barry, he said slowly, like the name had just clicked. You're the husband. Matt gave a slight nod. I'm the husband. Gomez's gaze dropped to the badge clipped to Matt's belt. You're a cop. I'm a cop, Matt confirmed. Gomez took a moment to process this information, then said, all right, here's how it went down. Couple days ago, I'm at the gym, late morning, working legs. I see her walk in. I've seen her around. We've talked a few times. Just casual, right? Harmless. Who do you mean by she? Oberst asked. Gomez pointed at Matt. Jen, his wife. Go on, Oberst said. Gomez nodded. She starts chatting me up again. Small talk, Weather, workout routines, stupid shit like that. Then out of nowhere, she asks if I've ever killed someone for money. Matt blinked, stunned. Oberst nodded for Gomez to continue. At first, I thought she was kidding. I laughed, just a little awkward, what the hell kind of thing. But she doesn't laugh, doesn't even crack a smile, just stares at me. Then she asks if I know anyone who would. Gomez leaned in. That's when it clicked. This crazy bitch is serious. Sorry, man, he added, glancing at Matt. But that's what I thought. I told her maybe, I don't know why I said that, maybe just to end the convo. Then I got the hell out of there. Didn't give her my number, didn't take hers, just bounced. He sat back hard in his chair and looked at Oberst. I wasn't going to say shit at first. I figured, hell, people say weird things sometimes. Then I figured maybe it's real. Maybe she's actually trying to do it. And if she is, I don't want to be tied to it when it happens. You're sure it was Jen Barry? Oberst asked. 100%. I've seen her there before. Pretty lady, red yoga top, black tights, not exactly forgettable. She never mentioned why? Matt asked. Did she say what she wanted to get out of it? Gomez shook his head. Nope. Didn't say a word about motive. Just asked the question and waited. And you didn't try to follow up? Matt asked. Hell no, Gomez said. I've got enough heat on me already. I figured if I stayed clear and dropped a dime through the proper channels, someone else could deal with it. Oberst leaned forward. And now that you've told us, you're hoping we consider cutting you a deal on the possession case. Exactly, Gomez said. Look, I'm no saint, but I'm not into murder for hire. I figured saying something now is better than reading about this guy turning up dead in a week. Matt sat back, mind racing. Nothing about this made sense. Nothing except the voice in his head whispering that maybe, just maybe it did. Matt shook his head. She's angry, sure. Maybe even unstable. But this? He looked up at Oberst. We're almost through the divorce. Paperwork's filed. There's no custody fight, no house, barely enough money to argue about. What the hell would be the point? Oberst didn't answer right away. Let's step into the hall, she said, standing. Matt hesitated, then pushed his chair back and followed them out. Joe leaned against the wall, arms crossed. You'd be surprised how many people pull the trigger over nothing, he said. It's not always money or revenge. Sometimes it's just rage. Some people can't let go, even when the fight's over. Matt rubbed the back of his neck. She's never laid a hand on me, never made a threat. She didn't threaten you, Oberst said. She asked a stranger at the gym if he'd kill you. That's worse. He looked at her. You're sure he's not just trying to scam a deal? Oberst nodded. I believe him, or you wouldn't be here. Joe added, he could have stayed quiet. He didn't have to name you. So what now? Matt asked. Oberst stepped in. Next move is controlled. Gomez will set up a meeting. We'll introduce Jen to an undercover officer posing as the hitman. If she makes the deal, we'll have her on solicitation charges. Matt's mouth tightened. Jesus! I know this is a lot, Oberst said, but the threat is real. And until we know how far she's willing to go, you need to be careful. Matt didn't respond right away. He just stood there staring at the floor, trying to reconcile the woman he married with the one now at the center of a murder-for-hire sting. Back home, Matt found sleep impossible. He stared at his phone, tempted to call Jen. Oberst warned him against doing so, stopping short of forbidding him. Oberst didn't want to tip her hand. The marriage had been a mistake, on both their parts. After the wedding, they discovered they had less in common than originally believed. Matt was more conservative than Jen thought. She was wilder than he imagined. He wanted to stay home. She wanted to go out. The first fight occurred over drugs. One morning he entered the kitchen to find her naked, bending over a countertop, and injecting herself in the ass with a syringe. What the hell are you doing? He had asked. Relax, it's not what you think, she said. What do I think? He asked testily. It's not heroin or anything like that. I'm not a dope head. It's a bodybuilding supplement. That comes out of a pharmaceutical bottle that you inject into your ass? I am a cop. Then arrest me, she said, finishing her injection and storming out of the kitchen. The next fight occurred over money. Jen wanted to open joint credit cards. He told her he didn't believe in using the things. Looking back, he decided it might have been worse if they had spent more time together. He worked long hours as a cop, and as a personal trainer, she kept an odd schedule. By the 6-month anniversary, he knew he'd made a mistake. He talked to Jen, picturing an amicable dissolution of the marriage. Instead, he found himself on the receiving end of an all-out war. War for the sake of war. From his perspective, there was nothing to fight over. He grabbed a beer from the refrigerator and sat in front of the computer. Retrieving his notepad, he followed the steps given to him earlier to log into the school's advanced security system. The login screen requested authentication twice before finally granting him access to Vista Ridge High's surveillance network. The system was more sophisticated than he'd expected for a public school. Facial recognition capability, motion tracking, time-stamped indexing. Matt had seen similar tech in federal buildings, but this was top tier for a high school. Then again, this was Texas. Money was no issue. Want something? Tax a homeowner. Matt uploaded the photo of Raymond Merrick from his case file. The system processed it for a moment, then populated a sidebar with dozens of thumbnail images. Every instance Merrick had appeared on camera over the past week. Well, that's convenient, Matt muttered, taking a swig of beer. He started scrolling chronologically, skimming through Merrick's daily routine. Classes, hallways, cafeteria, locker room entrances. Nothing unusual. Then a thumbnail caught his eye. Merrick's body language was different, tense. Matt clicked on it and expanded the video to full screen. Officer Bernard Swift entered the frame with Merrick. They were talking, Swift's posture casual, Merrick's increasingly agitated. Matt watched as they moved through the hallway, the system automatically switching camera feeds to follow their faces through the building. They stopped in an empty corridor where they were joined by an attractive girl with long dark hair. Merrick was now jabbing a finger into Swift's chest, his face contorted with anger. The officer didn't back away, but he didn't escalate either. The girl watched from the sidelines. Matt paused again, captured a still frame, and sent it to the printer. He continued watching as the argument lasted another 2 minutes before Merrick finally turned away, grabbing the girl's hand as they walked off together. Matt watched the exchange twice more. Something worthy of follow-up had taken place. A student, even a star quarterback, aggressively poking a uniformed school resource officer in the chest. That crossed a major line. No student should be putting hands on an officer, and no officer should tolerate it. Swift should have immediately established boundaries or called for disciplinary action. Instead, he just stood there taking it. Yeah, Matt thought, Officer Swift definitely had some questions to answer. He stared at the frozen image of Swift and Merrick on the screen. What the hell had they been arguing about?